Hi guys, it's me Dashama, and I'm going to make for you one of my green smoothie cleanse recipes. And this one is a favorite at my retreat, so I'm preparing it this morning for breakfast. We just did a whole bunch of yoga workout with a really strong core and balance practice, and so this is going to really top off the beautiful morning. I have our blender here. This is a Vitamix, and so it's a really big one, and I have it filled up halfway with ice. So we want to have a lot of ice, and we're going to make this with almond milk. I like to get the non-sweetened, so you can see unsweetened, and this one's just from Whole Foods, but this is almond milk with no sugar and organic. So we'll put, according to the recipe, depending on how many people you're looking to serve the smoothie to, depends on how you alter the recipe. So this recipe is to make enough for one smoothie. If you need 5, you need to make everything times 5, right? Of course. So we're going to be making, you also have to take into consideration the size of your blender. So you could really only make enough for probably 4 or 5 people with this size of a blender. This holds up to 8 cups. So depending on the size. I like to give 12-ounce smoothies, so this will make about 5 or 6 really good 12-ounce smoothies. So we'll put the almond milk right in there, and I have a few more jugs of almond milk right here, so we can put as much as we need for 5 people. And then the chia. So in the recipe I have 2 tablespoons of chia, and chia adds a lot of nutrition. What it does is it goes into your digestive system, and like a sponge, it pulls in all the toxins and flushes it out. It has tons of omega fat, which is really healthy for your skin and your brain functioning, as well as to help metabolize and let go of excess fat. And it also has a good amount of fiber, so it's perfect for cleansing. And nowadays they're putting it in a lot of cleanses that you can get like in the store, the little pills and stuff. If you look, ground chia is in a lot of those. So it's a really important ingredient that we can include very easily. And since we have 2 tablespoons in the recipe, so we're going to take that times 5 and make 10 tablespoons. So 10 tablespoons is roughly between 1/2 and 1/3 of a cup. And so we're just going to put that right in here. This chia is actually already ground. So you can get it ground or not ground. I actually prefer it not ground, because when you get it not ground, it absorbs the water around it and makes everything much thicker. It will still do that in the ground form, but a little bit different. So you can choose, you can test different ones and see what you prefer. Now, the other thing we're going to add is some hemp protein. So I like this one, Manitoba Harvest. It's certified organic, and what I really like about it is it has tons of fiber. So if you look on the back, 13 grams of dietary fiber. And so in the ingredients, that's included as an optional addition that you could add. So we'll put it in there, 1/4 of a cup for 1 serving. So we're gonna need 1.25 cups for 5 people, right? So if you have a measuring scoop, that would be great, or a spoon. So we're going to be adding hemp protein to this chai spice smoothie, and that adds a lot of protein, also a lot of fiber. So this specific hemp protein is one of my favorites. It has 13 grams of fiber per serving, which is 30 grams. So, and then in addition to that, it has 11 grams of protein. So it's super high in fiber and also protein. So you can put 1/4 of a cup, let's say, per serving, and since we're making enough for 5 people, we want to take 5 servings into this smoothie. So it's going to be really protein rich and lots of fiber, as well as tons of healthy fats. So 5 scoops of this, just to make enough for 5 people. It's getting to the end of the container here. And then we're going to put stevia. So the stevia in the recipe, it's a 1 teaspoon. It depends on how sweet you like it. Like if you like it really sweet, then I suggest you take a dropper full and you do 2 of those. That would be enough for 1 big jug like this for 5 people. Now for 1 person, obviously you're going to cut that by 5. So in here, 1 teaspoon, that's going to be about 1/2 dropper full. And then the other thing we're going to add is cinnamon. So I love cinnamon. Cinnamon is so good for you. It helps you to metabolize blood sugar in your body. So what it does is it's kind of a preventative for diabetes. Because what happens is when you eat sugar, it spikes your blood glucose, and then you get a crash and a spike and a crash. Every time you eat it, it spikes. Every time it wears off, it crashes. So cinnamon actually stabilizes that process in the glucose metabolism in your body. So it's really good for that. But we don't have a lot of sugar in this recipe, but the other thing it's really good for is that it just tastes amazing. So that's the main reason that I like to use it. So we're going to put 2 tablespoons of ginger. I mean, we're going to put 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. So just, this is a tablespoon here. We're going to fill it up twice. And then, the only other thing that this recipe calls for is a little bit of ginger. And you can choose whether or not to include that, because it depends if you have fresh ginger or if you're using powdered ginger. Fresh ginger is obviously better for you because it still has the phytonutrients, but at the same time, it sometimes makes little stringy things because it has an interesting fiber. If you could juice it in advance, that'd be even better. But also you can opt to leave it out if you prefer as well. So we're ready to go on our smoothie. Oh, the only other thing that I would suggest if you want to add something is raw cacao powder. So I have bought this at the farmer's market, and it's just amazing, amazing for you. If you like chocolate, this is the way to go. It's a superfood, so it has tons of minerals, and because it's raw, all the minerals have been preserved, and it also is energizing and tastes delicious. So we're going to put, according to the recipe, 1/4 cup, and so we'll put about a 1/2 cup since we're making double. So we'll put 4 tablespoons, 5 tablespoons in there, and now we're ready to blend. Okay, here we are at the Vitamix. So just to give you a little bit of an understanding about Vitamix, it's a high-powered blender that can really liquefy pretty much anything. They have infomercials where they're liquefying a cell phone. It's that powerful. So you want to take, you know, a lower, like medium setting, because we don't have anything in here except for the ice that really needs that kind of power. But all we do is we just turn it on. And typically I would use our little mallet to stir, but someone broke that in the house, so now I have to figure out how to stir this. Pretty much you need to stir it halfway through because it's a pretty thick smoothie, and a lot of the powder and stuff sometimes will float to the top. So we want to stir it up so that it gets nice and mixed well. And the other thing you could do, if it feels a little thick for you, if you don't like it that thick, you could add a little bit of water, which is an option. I'm gonna add a little water. This is more chocolatey than I was thinking, but it's really good.
That doesn't sound like a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. When we make it more chocolatey, it's good. Okay, now we're cooking. Okay, so you see how when I added more water, it really helped it, and now it can really do its job, right? Blending. Blending is an art and a science. Okay, so now we're ready. And we can just serve this in a beautiful little glass. All right, so I like to drink my smoothies in a wine glass because I think, you know, everything is about how you feel and what your mind is thinking. So if you're feeling like the smoothie is the classiest way to go, then you're gonna be more likely to have them regularly, and that will help you overall in your health, your well-being, and your life. So I drink to that. Enjoy the smoothie and have a beautiful, blessed day. Yummy.